How are you today?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Thank you for being with us today and sharing your time and your talent with us. Now, how would you classify yourself? Introduce yourself to everyone here.
So right now I consider myself an overall artist, but storyteller really, because over the years I've done some traditional art, mostly photography, career photographer, and then just dabbled in other arts like a little bit of music, a little bit of writing too. Just I guess I consider myself an artist, storyteller. That's more so what I would say.
Now, what inspired you to pursue a career in your craft?
It started when I was drawing and writing when I was like around college, early college years.
Mm-hmm.
It was the really expression because it was at a time when I didn't. A lot of my friends that I was close with in high school had left to the military branch or out of town, so I needed an outlet, and I turned to the arts for that. That's where it began.
It's so great that us here at artsy.co, we really focus on bringing artists together in the community.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about collaborating with artists? What does that mean to
Oh
you?
man, I feel like that's what people are meant to do is collaborate because I feel like the moment you do something where it's work, it's not passion, it doesn't align with, the person. Not to say that that task may be irrelevant, it's more like it's just not for that person. So I feel like there's a way to find something for everyone to be passionate about it where it becomes collaborative. Like some people might love serving food for people and they love it. Some people might love cooking and some people, but some other people feel different.
Yeah.
So I love that. I feel like everyone's meant to collaborate in the best way that they can in their passion.
What's one of your most current projects that you just absolutely loved?
Oh,
That you
man.
just, yeah.
I have a few, but I guess the one that stands out is I competed in the 48-hour film project.
Oh, cool.
And I learned a lot because that's the more where I'm going towards right now, the platform of writing and directing. So there was a lot of passion into that. I learned a lot, but now that that's kind of done with or just finishing up, I plan to continue writing other screenplays to go towards my dream goal right now, which is like having a feature of my own.
Oh, it's amazing. Can you share with us that idea? I mean,
Yeah.
just a little brief.
So the screenplay that I'm still working on, I wrote it about 2 years ago, 2.5, and it just kind of came to me when I heard this song from Super Mario World, and it's kind of it's a Super Nintendo song, but in
Okay.
my head I heard like an orchestral version, like an epic version of it, and I felt like this whole narrative to it, so I started writing, and that week after that I was working on set as a BTS photographer
Okay.
of a feature here called Blowback. Well, that's a feature. And the producer there, when I told her, like, oh, I just wrote this. And when I told her the idea, she was like, you should finish that. And when you finish that, we should be in touch. Hit me up. So she's in LA. She's a producer, but she's the one that kind of also motivated me to, wait, you think this is doable? So she's like, yeah, no, that's totally doable. So that's how that started. The narrative is basically, it's called Maria and Luis. It's like an alternate universe of Mario and Luigi. And this universe...
Oh, Maria and Lu.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
So in this universe, they are immigrants, and it kind of touches on the subject of the undocumented and all that. That's my background.
Okay.
And then halfway through the story, it takes a Black Mirror turn, so it gets really dark and gritty. So it starts off really colorful and vibrant, and then it gets really dark and gritty with stuff like that.
Wow. How do you feel your cultural background, your experience, how does that all feed into your work?
It's all expression. Some years ago, well, like I'm in my 30s, but in my 20s, I got up to a point where I wanted to just be the friend to my friends that I wish I would have had. So now I'm kind of taking another notch, I guess. And now I'm trying to tell stories to inspire people in ways I wish I would have been inspired. So that's now where I'm at.
I love that you were being the friend that you wish you would have had kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I absolutely love that. Earlier we were talking, you had mentioned that you have a bunch of different subjects you like to do photography for.
Yeah.
But there was a swinger party? Tell us a little bit about that.
So, yes, I covered a lot of events, unique events like such. And one time, I think it was in 2020, the last one that I did was in 2020. And it was a mansion over like in Green Valley. And yeah, like basically a bunch of people just kind of come by dressed in, some of them are dressed up, some of them are dressed down. And yeah, there's someone that specializes with whips, there's someone that specializes with this, and they're like, all right, who's next? And then yeah, people line up, men and women and all walks of life. I guess honestly, it just feels like there's a bunch of people that are sexually open, and they're just like, they don't mind being around others. Oh, what do you do? And then they just start talking and sometimes messing around, getting drunk or whatever.
That's amazing.
It's interesting because as a photographer to an event like that, they know that I'm a photographer. They let me kind of just like roam around and do my thing. And they're like, oh, hey, can I get a picture? So I don't feel like awkward because I'm just like, oh, okay, cool. Oh, I'll take a picture of that. And I'm just doing my job, like, and desensitized to pretty much everything now. So
yeah, because you've probably seen a lot of different things in your career.
Vegas, so
it's Vegas. That's true. So you do weddings, conventions, portraits, just so
yeah, that's my primary
like
line of work where I generate income from. Yeah,
that's great. Now, was there a memorable moment on your journey that helped shape your career in a sense?
Oh man, like the photography side, or
photography side or the writing directing side. I mean, we've sort of covered the writing directing side, so I think I'd love to focus on your photography. Like how has that? If there's a memorable moment in your past that was while you're on your journey, you're like, wow, this is something that happened so moving for you that helped shape what you are into today.
I think there was this website. I think it was the Boston, like a newspaper. A photojournalistic online, I guess, paper or article, and the photography there, and National Geographic, those two, like when they would tell stories around the world of like, good and bad, tragedy and all the time celebration or breakthroughs, just those unique moments in society around the world. Those moments kind of inspired me in terms of photography. I think that's what eventually got me to kind of grow out of like wedding and convention work, because it's great, like I still do that, but then I outgrew that in a sense that like it wasn't fulfilling, because I felt like, well, these are great pictures and but like now I want to tell more stories. Like, so with my photography, I wanted to tell more stories with portraiture. So that's why like the portraits that I do now, it's less formal in terms of like headshots. It's more creative, as in like there's more expression in it. There's hair flowing if it needs to be. There's an outfit. There's more character in them. So I like to put as much elements of the person into the portraiture to tell the story of who they are.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess it was those photojournalistic articles that I saw, National Geographic and the Boston. I remember that's the one that stands out. They're just compelling, I guess. You feel the moment. You're like, wow, like that happened, or like, wow, that was great, or wow, that was really, in every which category. It's really, really good at telling a story.
I love it. A lot of the people on our platform tell stories in many different ways, whether it's through dance or through digital content. How do you think you can benefit from a platform that connects creatives together, such as Artsy?
I feel like everyone has their story, and even if two people have similar stories, they still have, there's always room for collaboration. So actually it sounds great, because anyone else, any other artist that is where they're at, they got there because of their story, and they're overcoming, and pretty much on what's the word? They created a story and getting to where they are. So any collaboration always kind of brings out like the best of both artists or whoever's involved.
That. Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I think the word is synergy. So everything just kind of comes together and grows and grows. So the more collaborators, the more the story can tell more, more inclusive, I guess, more powerful, I guess you could say that. Better storytelling, better creative output, just overall just better.
I love how we can definitely elevate each other, right? How you said it brings out the best in both of us. Any dream projects you have that, other than the screenplay that you have, any other dream collaborations, dream artists you like to work with? That's kind of like a fun one.
Man. I mean, there's some actors that I'd like to work with at some point, like Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Oh, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Love
and,
him.
and then at some point, maybe being Keanu, like
Keanu was in my favorite film of all time. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So like those people, there's a few others, but yeah, I'd like to work with some actors, not just because of their acting, but also like their story that I know of, at least the people know of. I feel like it's inspiring. I think Joseph Gordon-Levitt is like a local here, if not, he visits Vegas often, if not local.
Okay.
So that's why I'm like, I feel like there's a chance that I could maybe collaborate with him at some point.
Yes, manifest it. Say, I'm gonna get out there. I'm gonna be with him one day. What advice would you give to people that are looking to get into photography or to get into the career that you've chosen for yourself?
I mean, it sounds corny, but I'll start by saying follow your heart, follow your passion. Beyond that, there's going to be resistance. There's going to be people that may see that as just like not possible, not feasible, not attainable. Because of that, there's a part of, I think, the journey that is, as an artist, that is lonely. Not because it's more like alone, not lonely, because when you believe in something, people like that can kind of pick at that belief. So when you believe in something, you just kind of like work on it. You have to just kind of keep going. And I guess to elaborate on following your heart, it's on the lines of being, again, that friend or that person that you wish you would have had. Because if you feel that way, there's more than likely someone else, at least one person, that feels the same way. So if you are that person to yourself, more than likely someone else is going to appreciate what you're creating. And they're going to resonate with it. So it may seem like a simple story that you're writing or a simple portrait, but if you feel like there's something about you that wants to create it, someone else is probably out there going to appreciate it. So I guess my advice is listen to your heart and listen to what you feel society, the community, or whatever scale you feel it needs, and try. Next thing you know, you're like at the top of the stairs and you're like climbing 10 stories high now. So
thinking about climbing stairs, what has been the hardest stairs to climb in your profession, would you say?
That's hard to say. I mean, because they're all pretty challenging. Maybe right now, the most challenging one right now is transitioning into cinematic writing and directing, mostly because I'm not formally trained in it. I'm familiar with it from photography and working on set, but I have to kind of hit the ground running. And I've heard this saying that the person on set who usually has the least experience but is still there is the writer or the director. So I can kind of see that happening. Like I can see myself at some point, maybe the next year, having 1 or 2 short films or something like that. And I would then be that person that has the least experience, but then I'm directing. There's a lot of challenges in getting there because the crew has to trust you. They're going to follow you and you're directing them. They're going to await your direction, as I'm now learning.
Yeah.
And so if you don't have that, then like I haven't, now I'm still working on that. It can be challenging. And that's what I'm learning at right now because as a photographer, I'm used to doing everything on my own, like a one-man team.
Oh, right. I didn't think about that.
Usually,
it's like a team you have to work with.
So usually in that context, I can because it's it's a photo shoot and I can move this, move that, move this. But then in a film, there's a crew. You need audio, you need a script editor, you need all kinds of people that work together and trust each other.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the hardest part right now is transitioning into something that I feel like passionate about, but there's it's like jumping ship. It's like, hold on, let me just jump over. and like they're waiting. It's just has its own challenges, I guess. And a lot of other friends in that film industry already are trying to encourage me and find the resources and education that I need to get on the same page, but it's still challenging.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say.
Any other thoughts you want to share with the artsy community?
Not at the moment.
Okay. Feeling it out, right?
Just keep doing what you're doing. Keep following your passion. The ego will eventually be humbled if it's not already.
Oh, I love that. The ego will eventually be humbled.
That's when the success begins, I feel. Because then that's when people become like open to collaborate. It's not more open, but like they're just ready for all kinds of collaborations. That's the point, I would say. So that's why I keep going.
Yeah, when the ego is humbled, it's like we're open now for more. So we like to round off our talk with one final question that's for fun.
Okay.
So if you were to walk into a party or walk into your own movie or your own musical, what is the song that the first track that you want to hear?
My own musical?
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Alice Phoebe Lou, Only When I. That's what it's called, Only When I.
Only One Night?
Only When I.
Oh, Only When I. Okay,
Yeah.
Alice Phoebe Lou.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I haven't heard this yet.
There's a piano version on YouTube that has a lot of emotion in it, and kind of has its own story to it. And so that's why I'm
Yeah.
like, it has enough going on that I'm like, I could see that. That's the opening song.
I love that.
It just came out of nowhere, but yeah, that's what I would pick.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for joining
you.
us and for having a portfolio on Artsy.
Cool. Thank you for having me. My name is Ivan Carrillo. You can find me on artsy.co under Ivan Carrillo. I'm looking to collaborate with any other artist, really, visual or in acting or writing. I consider myself a storyteller, so if you have any kind of story as an artist, I'm open to collaborating in probably some way. So if you like my work, find me and we can collaborate.